Antonio Brown finally gets his wish, and he is out of Pittsburgh and headed to Oakland. What is going on, y'all? Fox Sports Talk back at it with another video talking, of course, some NFL here to talk about the biggest trade of the NFL offseason, in which Antonio Brown gets traded to the Oakland Raiders. My apologies for being a little late on this. I was on vacation when the news broke. I was actually out in Cali. By the way, I wasn't in Oakland. I was in LA. The point being is I couldn't wait to get back and talk about this. Now, when I was on vacation, the news broke that he had gone or been traded to the Buffalo Bills. Ian Rappaport reported that, and I was like, okay, my God, what the heck's going on? And then later on in the day, we heard that that trade wasn't going down, okay? And I'm like, okay, what is going on? But then finally, the Raiders came in and they offered a trade to the Steelers, who then, of course, accepted it. And now Antonio Brown is officially a Raider. So I'm going to break down this trade for you guys. Who won, who lost this trade, what I think about it overall, and just give you everything else in between. All right, let's get started. So let's start by reviewing the exact trade details, okay? So the Raiders give up a 3rd and a 5th round pick for Antonio Brown. Are you kidding me? So Antonio Brown, who has been arguably the best receiver in the league over the past 6 seasons, or more than that even, you get a 3rd and a 5th round pick for him. So right off the bat, you're probably like, oh my God, the Steelers got fleeced. They got hosed. The Raiders absolutely just robbed them in this deal. And you're partially right, okay? So here's my take on it, okay? Now, let's start with the Raiders and then Antonio Brown, and then I'll get to the Steelers, okay? The Raiders, of course, did not have to give up a lot. A 3rd and 5th round pick is a bargain for Antonio Brown. The Raiders had 3 first-round picks, and they didn't have to give up any of them. So that's a win for them. So yes, the Raiders won this trade, but just because someone won does not mean someone had to lose, okay? So Antonio Brown, he certainly won as well because he got out of Pittsburgh. He gets to go to Oakland. Oh, by the way, when the Bills trade happened, apparently Antonio Brown was the one who nixed that because he didn't want to go to Buffalo, okay? So he got to pick where he didn't want to go, okay? So Antonio Brown won because he gets traded to Oakland. And the fact is, he got more money because he was able to restructure the deal. And I think the new contract, the restructured contract, is worth about $50 million. So he's going to be the highest paid receiver in the NFL. $50 million plus incentives. Okay, so that is ridiculous. And he gets to stick it to his former team one last time, the Pittsburgh Steelers, by them only getting a 3rd and a 5th round pick. So clearly, Antonio Brown won as well. So Raiders won, AB won. Now, what about the Steelers? Well, the Steelers also won, but they didn't win as much. So here's the thing with Antonio Brown. Yes, he's one of the best receivers in the NFL, arguably the best in the NFL, okay? But he became a head case for them, too much so that they couldn't keep him on the team because it would have been more of a detriment than a letdown. So for them to just get anything for Antonio Brown is a win in itself, because here's the thing. A lot of people I've seen on Twitter talking about, oh, they only got a 3rd and 5th round pick. Folks, the market was not that hot for Antonio Brown. Trust me. And I tweeted about this. He was not making himself look good. He basically, took his trade value down, and it made it so that the Steelers did not have much sort of suitors out there for AB, okay? So point being is, the market that you thought, oh, some team's going to offer 2 first-round picks for Antonio Brown, that wasn't going to happen. So for the Steelers to still be able to get some compensation out of this, it's a win for them. It's not as much of a win as it is for the Raiders or for AB, but it's still a win for them. Basically, it's addition by subtraction. Juju Smith-Schuster is their new #1 wide receiver. Oh, and they're pretty good at drafting receivers as well. So the Steelers should be fine in terms of, the receiving core. Juju is going to be very good for them. But point being is, they still won this trade because here's the thing. Antonio Brown starting him, putting him on this roster at the start of the next season was not a possibility, okay? So they got rid of him and they got some compensation back. And one last thing I will say is, I've heard a lot of people talk about how Antonio Brown made himself look bad and all that stuff and how ultimately it hurt him. No, here's the thing, it didn't. Yes, he made himself look bad, but Antonio Brown, just like a lot of athletes, does not have the ability to pick where he wants to play. Played for the Steelers. Yes, he was under contract, but here's the thing. Antonio Brown finally had some leverage and he took advantage of it and he forced his way out. I get it, you know, people are saying he quit on his teammates and everything else like that. But here's the thing, man, and with players, really, we got to stop siding with the owners over the players all the time. There are certain instances where you should, but this might not be one of them, okay? Antonio Brown basically said, Big Ben Roethlisberger treats the Steelers players like he's the owner, okay? Maybe he's telling the truth, maybe he's not. But let's give him the benefit of the doubt and let's give these players the advantage of the leverage that they never have, because they never get to, you know, pick where they want to play. And yeah, you want to say they get paid millions of dollars to play a sport. Folks, listen, you only get what you're worth. These are world-class athletes. We can't make that argument. So overall, let me just say the Raiders won, AB won, but the Steelers won as well, but they didn't win as much. Might seem like a cop-out with that, but that's just how I believe, okay? That's just what I believe. Let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment down below if you agree with me or disagree. As always, thanks for watching.